So in this segment, we're going to be discussing Suella Braverman plays down resignation talk over Brexit. So over the Northern Ireland Protocol changes or tweaks, and this article is very weird, really weird. Her language is bizarre. Suella Braverman is not a normal person. I'll tell you that for free. But this is weirder than normal. So Braverman has played down the prospect she could resign over the new changes over the Northern Ireland Protocol. So there was a rumour maybe put out by her to say she would resign if Sunak's changes to the protocol did not meet certain criteria. Braverman, I think, a member of the ERG or former member, their rules are weird on if you can be a minister and a member. So if she's happy with the changes, it would mean that either Sunak has gotten major changes with the protocol within the legal text, which it appears like he hasn't got anything really major, nothing beyond the October proposals anyways. Or maybe she's full of bluster and enjoys being a powerful minister. I don't know. The Home Secretary told GB News she could not support any negotiated deal that allows the EU a, quote, foothold, end quote, in the region. So a foothold is, quote, a position usable as a base for further advance, end quote. And, I've got news for Braverman and the ERG and all the other morons in the Tory party, right? We are not at war with the EU. No, the EU doesn't have a foothold in the United Kingdom. This is not an invasion. The EU are not looking to take us over and colonise us. We're the experts in that context, of colonisation and what you need to do to invade another country. But they are not doing that. Brexiteers are desperate to relive the 2019, the glory days of when, they won the election and faced down managed to get their Brexit done, etc. The EU don't care about bringing the UK back into the fold. What they do care about is Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement, Ireland obviously being a member of the EU. Now, Northern Ireland will most likely stay in the EU single market for goods. I can't see that changing. I haven't seen the deal yet. This is being recorded on the 27th. I've not seen the exact details of Sunak's changes to the protocol yet, but if it's still in the EU single market for goods, then nothing has really changed fundamentally. Also, is she arguing that the EU has a foothold in the UK, or Sunak's changes could result in the EU having a foothold in the UK? She makes no sense. Genuinely, it's very confusing what she's talking about. She says it was vital, she added, to, quote, safeguard what we've gained from the Brexit vote and properly take back control, end quote. And this is what I mean. This is some sort of war to them, a culture war or something. What does properly take back control mean? I thought they had done this in 2019. That's what they said, take back control, get Brexit done. What's happening? Sunak said we already have taken back control. This screams to me that she wants to take Northern Ireland out of the single market for goods. She still supports the Northern Ireland Protocol bill, which Sunak has put on ice. But I think she's pragmatic in the regard of she wants to be Home Secretary and get her other right-wing agenda through, especially combined with the fact that the ERG don't have the numbers to tank this anymore, by the looks of things. Earlier, the Prime Minister declined to say what the role the European Court of Justice might have, telling MPs that talks were still ongoing. I read there may be more arbitration panels and layers between disputes for the ECJ to deal with, i.e. there would be almost like smaller courts or panels, but the ECJ will be the ultimate arbitrator if there are appeals, and I can't see the ERG accepting that. They want no role for the ECJ at all. Sunak added, any set of rules would need the guarantee of sovereignty for Northern Ireland without giving further details. Again, what does this mean? Northern Ireland won't get a veto on EU rules, so what does it mean? It's just a buzzword. They might get consulted like how Norway do, but I can't see anything beyond that. Braverman, a staunch Brexiteer, previously resigned from May's government over her, quote, backstop proposals, end quote, to prevent checks, which was ultimately abandoned. The backstop was very different to this. That would have kept all of the UK in the single market for goods until a border solution was found, but there isn't one that exists. The technological one is nonsense. Asked during an interview with GB News whether she could do the same over the new protocol deal. It's not a new protocol deal, BBC, it's just changes to it. She replied, I don't think we need to be talking about resignation. I've taken a forthright position in the past because I found the terms of previous agreements intolerable, end quote. However, she warned she would not support a deal, quote, selling out Northern Ireland and allowing the EU a foothold in the United Kingdom, end quote. And what does selling out Northern Ireland mean? What, keeping them in the single market for goods? Because it seems to be what they mean. Journalists really need to push and ask, what does selling out Northern Ireland mean here? There seems to be a disconnect between the definitions of what backbenchers mean when they say sell out versus ministers. If Northern Ireland stays in the single market for goods, which it most likely will do, if is that selling out Northern Ireland? Because I can't see this deal change much beyond optics. It has to deliver on the DUP7 test to get the backing of the ERG. So if the DUP say they accept the changes, the ERG will back it. If the DUP say they won't back the changes, then the ERG won't back it, and that causes a rift in the party. And it's not easy to get the EU to agree to the DUP7 tests, or to remove Northern Ireland from the single market. It's all nonsense. Her statements here are absolutely bizarre. I'm not sure where we go from here from certain people. I think she's been pragmatic. She wants to keep her role in the as Home Secretary here. But I think journalists need to really ask, because if it's the case that by keeping Northern Ireland in the single market, we have sold out the people of Northern Ireland, or we are selling out the people of Northern Ireland. I've got news for you, Chief. You voted for the protocol back during the withdrawal agreement, back during 2020. You voted for it, right? So if it's the case that keeping Northern Ireland in the single market it means selling them out, by your own definition, that means you already sold them out. You sold them out ages ago, back in 2020, arguably in 2019. So for you to now argue that argue about the foothold stuff and the sellout stuff, it makes no sense, because you've already given that by your own definitions, not my definitions, her definitions. She's already, quote, sold out the EU, sold out Northern Ireland, and she's given the EU a foothold in the United Kingdom according to her own definitions. So for her to argue that this new deal or these changes need to change those two things simply won't happen. The EU won't let it happen. They will make changes. But the question will be, once the UK starts moving away in terms of standards, that's when the game really changes. But yeah, this video recorded before the main details come out of the protocol. I just thought it'd be interesting for you to see kind of why Brexit is, why the ERG are struggling here, because according to Tony Connolly, or at least the Telegraph, they don't have the numbers. They have about 22 people in a meeting. 22 Tory rebels isn't going to tank this. No chance, especially with Labour backing it. And you've got a split. Certain members of the ERG saying it's actually a good deal. Chris Heaton-Harris apparently is telling everyone how great the deal is. Braverman won't resign. I don't think Brexit hardman Steve Baker is going to resign. So the ERG have really messed this up here. But yeah, this is kind of it. I think certain Tory members realise they have to be a bit more pragmatic, and I think they're more willing to play the long game. They want that EU retention bill, the Brexit deregulation bill to pass. They want the Northern Ireland Protocol bill to pass, and that's when they're going to try and do the real damage here. They are willing to wait. These people are pretty patient, and they are very, very dodgy and scary. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there before I ramble on any longer. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and support the channel on Patreon if you can, and I'll catch you in the next one.